You should know. And let's get Gary back in the United States. And let's elect Joe Biden the next president. I'm done talking about the guy currently in the White House. You know, why? We don't need to do that. Let's talk about the opportunity that is in front of us right now, which is to elect Joe Biden, right? We're in the middle of at least 4 crises. Joe talks about them all the time, right? We're in the middle of a public health pandemic that has killed over 225,000 people in our country. People who sadly, so many, had to die and live their last days on earth by themselves because of the nature of this pandemic. They couldn't be with family members to hold their hands. And, you know, I've been through that process with someone, and if any of you have, to not be able to be with your loved one in those final days, to look at the fact that we're in a pandemic that has infected 9 million people who, thank God, have lived. But God only knows with what kind of long-term health consequences. And we have in our hands an option to elect a president in Joe Biden who understands, sadly more than most, what it means to go through being in a hospital with somebody, losing someone you love, understanding the dignity of life, the dignity of love, and the importance of caring for all human beings. We have in our hands and in our power the choice of electing a president who, in the midst of a mass casualty event of a proportion similar to World War II, who will lead with a sense of compassion and care. In Joe Biden, somebody who says, look, yes, President Obama and I pushed through the Affordable Care Act that brought health care to over 20 million people. Let's build on that, not take it away. Joe Biden, who says we need to continue protecting people with pre-existing conditions. Clap or honk if you know somebody with diabetes, blood pressure, or a breast cancer survivor.
Or taking care of COVID patients every day.
And taking care of COVID patients every day. And so Joe understands that. And he says we got to extend it. We have to bring down the cost of drug prices, bring down the cost of premiums. We should bring eligibility for Medicare down to age 60. Joe says, I understand that when we're talking about health care, the body doesn't just start from the neck down, it includes the neck up. And that's called mental health care. The choice we have right now is in our hands. The power is with us, the people. Think about this economic crisis. It has hit Michigan so hard. Gary and Debbie, Brenda, they talk to me about it all the time. When we're looking at, in America, over 30 million people filed for unemployment in just the last several months. When we're looking at folks standing and parked in food lines, 1 in 5 mothers describing her children under the age of 12 as being hungry. So many people, I think the number is like 1 in 6, who are describing not being able to pay rent last month or concerned they can't pay it next month. And Joe understands this, right? Joe understands that you don't deal with America's economy by doing what these other guys did, which is passing a tax bill that benefits the top 1% and the biggest corporations in America. When Joe is asked, how is the economy doing, you know what Joe says? He says, well, tell me, how are working people doing? How are working families doing? That's why Joe says we're not passing any taxes on anybody making less than $400,000 a year. Joe says we're going to bring down middle class taxes. Joe says we're going to pass a legislation and put in place rules and laws that say that working families shouldn't pay more than 7% of their income in child care. That we're going to have a tax credit of $15,000 for first-time home buyers, understanding how that can help with down payment and closing costs to buy a home. Because Joe cares about building up the middle class. He understands the way to do that is you fight for and protect good union, good paying jobs. And it's so good to be in the House of Labor. We have a choice in front of us, and the power is in our hands. Think about the long overdue reckoning on racial injustice in America. And Joe, being a student of American history, has the courage to speak the phrase, Black Lives Matter. Joe understands, it may be difficult to think about or speak of or hear, but we have to confront the truth of things. We need to deal with racial disparities, yes, in our criminal justice system, and do that by a number of things, including decriminalize marijuana and expunge the records of people who have been convicted of marijuana offenses. Let's get rid of cash bail because people are sitting in jail for days, weeks, months just because they can't afford to get out. That's an economic justice issue.